There are few concepts as elusive, as mind-bending, as time itself. We measure it, observe it, and yet, in the depths of human history, the true nature of time has remained a mystery, hidden not only from our scientific understanding, but even from the pages of sacred texts. What if I told you that ancient civilizations, long before modern science began unraveling its secrets, may have already understood the nature of time travel? What if ancient scriptures contain the answers to some of humanity's most profound questions about time, space, and existence? Today, we will dive into the depths of sacred texts, long-forgotten teachings, and the whispered wisdom of mystics from across the ages. Time travel, an idea once thought to be pure fantasy, might not be so far-fetched after all. Stay with me as we explore the hidden truths buried within the words of ancient scriptures and discover the profound knowledge that could have revealed the secrets of time itself. Could time travel have been known to the ancients? Let's find out. Throughout history, the understanding of time has evolved, yet its true essence has remained an elusive enigma. Ancient civilizations, though separated by vast distances and cultural differences, all held a profound relationship with time, one that went far beyond the linear structure we accept today. To understand how time travel might have been known to these early cultures, we must first explore how they perceived time itself. In ancient Egypt, time was not simply a ticking clock or a linear progression of seconds, minutes, and hours. It was a cosmic force, cyclical, infinite, and beyond human comprehension. The Egyptians understood time as a continuous cycle of life, death, and rebirth, symbolized by the journey of the sun across the sky. The concept of Seeker, the god of time, embodied this cyclical vision, representing the eternal nature of existence. The Egyptians didn't see time as a straight line but as a spiral, forever returning to its origin. This cycle, they believed, stretched beyond the boundaries of human understanding, hinting at a deeper, spiritual connection to time, perhaps a way to transcend it. As we move eastward, we encounter the ancient Hindus who, in their sacred Vedic texts, spoke of time as Kalachakra, the wheel of time. According to these ancient scriptures, time wasn't just a measure of passing moments, but a divine force governing all of creation. The Kalachakra represented not only the cyclical nature of time, where the universe is repeatedly born and destroyed, but also hinted at the possibility of traversing through different cycles of existence. The concept of samsara, the endless cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, implies a fluidity of existence that could very well encompass time travel, allowing a soul to transcend linear time and experience multiple lifetimes across ages. Ancient Greece also held a view of time that deviated from the simple progression we know today. The philosopher Heraclitus famously stated, "Time is a game played beautifully by children." In his teachings, he implied that time was a force of change, constantly in flux, not bound by human perception. The Greeks believed time was governed by Kronos, the personification of time, who held the reins of destiny. Yet, beneath the surface, we find hints that the Greeks understood the possibility of manipulating this force. The Greek myths are filled with tales of gods and heroes who could bend time, whether it was the story of Odysseus, who spent what seemed like years on an island that existed outside of time, or the tale of Orpheus, whose music could even reverse the flow of time itself. Across these ancient cultures, there is a consistent thread, the understanding that time is not a linear force, but a malleable, cyclical energy that can be transcended, manipulated, and perhaps even traveled through. Ancient people didn't simply accept the passage of time as we do today. They believed in the power to shape it, to move through it, to master it. But how exactly did these ancient civilizations perceive time travel? What hidden truths did they pass down in their sacred texts that we are only beginning to understand? Let's dive deeper into the ancient scriptures themselves. Ancient scriptures, often cloaked in symbolic language, contain hidden references to time travel. Passages that, when examined with a discerning eye, seem to reveal the possibility that these ancient civilizations not only understood time differently, but may have even discovered ways to transcend it. These clues, scattered across sacred texts from cultures as far-flung as Egypt, India, and the Americas, hint at the possibility that time travel was known to those with the wisdom to decode these messages. One of the earliest and most fascinating references to time manipulation can be found in the Hindu Mahabharata, one of the longest epics in the world. In this text, we encounter the story of King Revata, who, upon visiting the god Shiva, is granted the ability to travel forward in time. Upon his return to his kingdom, Revata discovers that many ages have passed, and his people no longer recognize him. This story is not just a tale of divine favor, but seems to be a veiled reference to time travel itself. The idea that a mortal could enter the realm of the gods and return to find centuries had passed suggests a concept of time vastly different from our own, a time where time itself could be transcended. Similarly, in the Zohar, the foundational work of Kabbalistic mysticism, we find references to a secret path that can lead one through different dimensions and times. This text, while primarily focused on the mystical aspects of existence, also speaks of the soul's ability to ascend through different planes of existence. Some interpretations of the Zohar suggest that the soul can move between past, present, and future, experiencing different timelines, much like a traveler passing through different points on a map. This concept of the soul's movement through time echoes many modern theories of time travel, where time is not a single, unchangeable thread, but a vast tapestry of possibilities, each accessible through the right knowledge or spiritual practice. The Bible, too, contains what many have interpreted as veiled references to time travel. One such passage is found in the book of Ezekiel. In the text, Ezekiel describes a vision in which he is taken to the future, seeing a world vastly different from his own, a city in ruins, desolate and abandoned. Some scholars suggest that this vision may not have been a mere prophecy, but an experience of time travel, where Ezekiel was taken beyond the present moment to witness events that had yet to unfold. Similarly, in the book of Revelation, John the Apostle speaks of witnessing future events that would unfold at the end of times. The visions he describes are often interpreted as prophetic. But what if they were glimpses of a future he had somehow traveled to in spirit? Even in the Tibetan Book of the Dead, we find references to beings who exist outside the constraints of time and space. These texts describe Bardo, a liminal state between death and rebirth, where the soul transcends the usual passage of time and experiences different planes of existence simultaneously. The concept of Bardo hints at the idea of navigating through time, not in a linear fashion, but as a being capable of moving across different states of being, different moments in time. These references are not just fanciful myths, but ancient understandings of time and existence that have been encoded in scriptures meant to guide the spiritually adept. In each of these examples, we find subtle clues that point to the possibility that ancient cultures may have understood time as a fluid, malleable force, one that could be traversed, manipulated, and even controlled. But the evidence does not end there. There are modern scientific theories, some quite controversial, that suggest these ancient scriptures may not be as fantastical as they seem. As we delve deeper into the possibilities of time travel, we begin to see how the ancient understanding of time might not only match, but perhaps even precede some of the groundbreaking discoveries of modern physics. Could these ancient texts hold the keys to unraveling the mystery of time itself? The ability to transcend the boundaries of time has not only been discussed by ancient cultures, but also by mystics and spiritual teachers throughout history. These visionaries, in their pursuit of higher knowledge and enlightenment, seem to have hinted at the possibility of traveling through time, but in a manner far removed from the mechanical, scientific view we hold today. Instead, these teachings present time as something that can be transcended through spiritual insight, consciousness expansion, and profound wisdom. One of the most intriguing references comes from the teachings of the ancient Tibetan Buddhists. The Dzogchen tradition, which focuses on the direct experience of the primordial state of being, emphasizes the concept of timeless awareness. According to these teachings, the ultimate state of consciousness is not bound by the passage of time, as it exists beyond the cycle of birth and death. The Tibetan mystics believe that through deep meditation and inner transformation, one could access this timeless state, an existence where past, present, and future are not separate, but rather interwoven into a single, eternal moment. This suggests that to access time travel, one must not seek external devices or technology, but must instead unlock the power of the mind and consciousness. In the Upanishads, a collection of ancient Hindu spiritual texts, we find another intriguing perspective on time. The Brahman, or ultimate reality, is described as being beyond time, space, and causality. The sage, through deep meditation, can merge with the Brahman, stepping outside of the confines of temporal reality. This merging is not a metaphor, but a state of being where time itself no longer has any dominion. By transcending the individual ego, the mystic becomes one with the infinite, experiencing all of time as a unified whole. This idea resonates with the notion that true spiritual enlightenment offers the ability to transcend linear time, moving freely through past, present, and future. The famous Sufi mystic Rumi, whose poetry has resonated across centuries, spoke of a reality where time is but an illusion. In one of his most famous quotes, he said, "Try not to resist the changes that come your way. Instead, embrace them. Let life flow through you." Rumi's teaching suggests that in surrendering to the flow of life, one can tap into a timeless space where the concept of past or future becomes irrelevant. For the mystic, time travel is not about moving through time with a physical machine, but about shifting one's consciousness into the eternal present, where all moments coexist simultaneously. Similarly, in Western mysticism, the teachings of the Rosicrucians and the Hermetic order contain references to the transcendence of time. The Emerald Tablet of Hermes Trismegistus, a cornerstone of Hermetic wisdom, contains the famous line, "As above, so below, as within, so without." This principle, often misunderstood, alludes to the interconnectedness of all things, including time. The Hermetic tradition teaches that the universe operates according to certain universal laws, and one of these laws could very well pertain to the manipulation of time. By aligning oneself with the flow of the cosmos and understanding the nature of time itself, a true initiate could, in theory, move beyond the confines of temporal limits. These mystical teachings suggest that time travel may not be something achievable through external tools or devices, but rather through a deep and profound understanding of the self, the universe, and the nature of reality itself. To these ancient sages, time was not a line to be followed, but a dimension to be transcended, accessible only to those who had attained the wisdom to see beyond the veil. The idea of time travel, once relegated to the realm of science fiction and mystical philosophy, has been gaining attention in the scientific world. While the ancient texts and teachings we've explored hint at time as a malleable force, modern science is beginning to explore similar concepts, albeit through the lens of physics and mathematics. So, does contemporary science offer any evidence that might validate the ancient ideas of time travel, or is it simply wishful thinking? The most prominent theory in modern physics that suggests the possibility of time travel is Albert Einstein's theory of relativity. According to the general theory of relativity, space and time are not separate entities, but are part of a single, interconnected continuum called space-time. This concept fundamentally challenges the traditional notion of time as a constant, fixed progression. Instead, time can be bent and warped by massive objects, such as black holes or the gravity of stars and planets. In essence, time itself is flexible, and the passage of time can vary depending on where you are in the universe and the forces acting upon you. The idea of time dilation, which is a consequence of relativity, is one of the closest scientific principles to time travel. Time dilation occurs when an object moves at speeds approaching the speed of light, causing time to slow down for that object relative to those who are not moving at such speeds. This phenomenon has been proven experimentally with atomic clocks, which have shown that time moves more slowly at higher velocities. This means that, theoretically, if a person could travel near the speed of light, they could experience time at a vastly different rate than those who remain stationary, effectively traveling into the future. Perhaps even more intriguing is the concept of wormholes, hypothetical passages through space-time that could create shortcuts between distant points in the universe. Wormholes, if they exist, could potentially allow for time travel by linking different points in time and space. While wormholes have not been observed directly, the mathematics behind them is grounded in Einstein's general theory of relativity. Some physicists speculate that if wormholes could be stabilized, they might offer a means for time travel, allowing individuals to move between different points in time. Interestingly, some researchers believe that ancient knowledge, passed down through scriptures and mystical traditions, may contain insights into the nature of time that modern science is only beginning to confirm. For example, the concept of time as a fluid, cyclical force, as described in ancient Hindu and Egyptian teachings, parallels modern scientific theories of space-time as a dynamic and ever-changing entity. The idea that consciousness can transcend time, as described by Tibetan Buddhists and other mystics, also finds echoes in theories of quantum consciousness, which suggests that consciousness itself may have a non-local quality and be capable of accessing different dimensions of time and space. This convergence of ancient wisdom and modern science suggests that the possibility of time travel may not be as far-fetched as it seems. While we may not yet have the technology to travel through time, the underlying principles proposed by both ancient sages and modern scientists seem to suggest that time is not as fixed and unchangeable as we once believed. Time travel, it seems, may be more than just a concept reserved for science fiction. It could be a reality that we have yet to fully comprehend, one that was understood by ancient civilizations and may soon be unraveled by the cutting-edge theories of modern physics. In the end, the ancient scriptures and teachings, though shrouded in mystery, might have been on to something. As we continue to push the boundaries of science and explore the depths of our consciousness, perhaps we will uncover the true nature of time, and with it, the key to unlocking the ultimate mystery, the ability to travel through time itself. As we've explored, time travel is not just a modern invention, but a concept embedded in the ancient wisdom of mystics, sages, and philosophers. From the timeless awareness of Tibetan Buddhists to the cyclical nature of time described in the Upanishads, ancient teachings hinted at a deeper understanding of time, one that transcends the linear framework we often impose upon it. Today, modern science, particularly through Einstein's theory of relativity and the concept of wormholes, is slowly revealing that time may not be as fixed as we once thought. Could the ancient scriptures have been more than just spiritual allegories? Perhaps they were uncovering secrets that science is now beginning to grasp. The connection between ancient knowledge and modern physics raises the possibility that time travel, once thought impossible, may not be as far-fetched as it seems. What do you think? Is time merely an illusion, or is it a door waiting to be unlocked by those who seek to understand it? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more hidden truths that the universe has yet to reveal.